Welcome to Friday Night Draw, the Gem City Comic Con edition.
Whoa.
Rodney's not here tonight because producer B's got a birthday. So we got Nate Lovett here. We're going to draw some Thundercats. And we got Gem City Jess, soccer coach, to talk some Gem City Comic Con.
I don't want to talk about Gem City. Let's talk about what you've been doing.
What we've been doing? Working on the house.
That sounds fun. I'm sure people are tuning in to watch you draw and hear you talk about your house.
Yeah, I know Mike is.
Yeah, Mr. Mike Ferryman, who gave us this idea, and it's too good to join us tonight.
Yeah, had to go to the lake and relax.
What lake does he go to?
Lake Erie.
Oh, I was going to say maybe like Lake St. Mary's or something like that, because that's barely a lake. It's like a ditch.
He goes up to the big one.
No, see, we got we got Justin here.
I can't see any of this. Who's you can see, right?
Yeah, up at the top it says comments. Click on comments. Upper right.
And Mike is here.
Yep. He says he's here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Could have been joining us in the conversation, but no.
Oh, Mike Buckley's there. Mike Buckley.
Buckley.
We talk about, since we're not talking about Gem City. Mike Buckley is a creator from. He lives in Dayton, and for years, he's lived in Dayton, and I've been aware of his work. If you ever like Jade Warriors, Mike Diodato, is that how you say his name? Mike. I never can pronounce it right, but he did Jade Warriors with him, and I knew of the work, and I knew that he was in Ohio somewhere. It turns out like we're practically neighbors. He lives here in Dayton. This is the first year that he's going to come to the show. Hi, Mike.
Nice.
Cool. And here you are not wanting to talk about the show.
I don't want to talk about the show.
Our guests have a special request there. It's up on screen.
No soccer talk.
Soccer season hasn't really started yet, so we've got we've just done practices and some stuff like that. Kids finish camp today. We start team camps next week, and so I don't have anything to report on that. But we could talk about the
weeks. You won't be able to do anything because soccer will have once again taken over your life.
Willingly, there's nothing more I like better than coaching soccer. It is the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life.
It's like herding cats when they're that age. I've
they're
been
not.
there.
No.
Well, so is Gem City.
Yeah.
You know. Well, yeah.
We're signed. We're looking at a tournament in Dublin. You guys have never come to see this tournament. If we go to it, it's going to be my son's team and my daughter's team. So you'll have to come.
Oh, you're actually making sure your son's team's doing something, huh?
Wow, Gray's actually going to get some playtime, huh?
Actually, Grayson had a good year 2 years ago. This past year, we just got absolutely stomped. We won no games. We were playing up a year, and we didn't win a game all season. It was really difficult. But, yeah, we're going to do probably a Dublin tournament, so you guys can come see them play, and you'll see that it's not like cats.
I don't
know. We might be busy with curling or something. I don't know.
It's not like it doesn't look like rec. This looks just like soccer, but maybe you just don't like soccer. I know Nate does, but
hang on. I just woke up. What's going on? Mike, I thought you only had a daughter.
I like my daughter's team a lot.
We know.
Yeah.
Yep. We definitely know. Probably because, she wants to kill people when she's out on that field.
She's a murderer. Absolute murderer.
And Jesse's forcing her to read over summer.
Well, yeah, there's no sense in not. I mean, it's just an hour a day. That's not too much to request.
Torturing poor kids, making them play soccer, read a book.
At least when we were kids, you could earn, personal pan pizzas.
Right.
For the summer. They don't even do that anymore, do they?
They have some reading sort of thing, but it's connected to the Libby app. Do you guys use the Libby app?
Never heard of it.
It replaced an app called Overdrive, and Overdrive was connected to your library
Okay.
card.
I had
You could
Overdrive.
download, you could download books or audio books and listen to them in the car and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Libby replaced that, and it tracks when they use their card to download books and stuff. It tracks that, so it says, "Oh, you've read so many hours this year, and you've read this book and this book, and you read all these books." And then there's a thing that they do at school now called AR, and essentially you read a book voluntarily, and then you take a little test on it, and you get extra points and crap like that. And I complained to the lady because there's literally no graphic novels in it except for Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which I don't even really know. No, I'm not crapping on Jeff Pliny or whatever his name is. Maybe that's the writer, but they're not really graphic novels.
Same guy. Yeah, no, it's more prose with comics interspersed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the only one they let him read. I'm like, well, this is awful. Here.
But no Raina stuff, because I mean, she's got like a bajillion books that have won awards, and
I'm sure they have them in the library, but they don't count them as AR books. They can't read them for AR.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
whatever. I'm like Justin. Pizza Hut was such a cool program. Good old Book It.
Book It. Yep.
I did get. I haven't used it yet. That the newest Ninja Turtles game came with that coupon for Pizza Hut.
Did it?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Did you have to rip it out?
Wait, say that again.
Did you have to rip out the coupon?
No, it was just in the box with the like the manual or whatever.
Which Ninja Turtles game?
What was that? The Revenge of Shredder or whatever, the one that came out who looks like the old arcade game.
Okay. I got the digital version, so I didn't get a coupon.
Yeah, I do physical media for everything.
Have you been playing? Anybody been playing Tears of the Kingdom?
Sorry.
I don't know what that is.
What?
Yes, a bit.
Gray already beat it. I have put about 10 hours into it, and then I had to put a pin in it until after Gem City. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play it a lot. I got it the weekend that it came out, and he marched right through it, and just like I was trying to watch him play a couple of times. It just made me angry. I'm just like, you didn't even look in the other corner of this room. You did not 100% that dungeon. Get back in there. So I had to stop doing it. And then he got so far ahead. I'm just like, I don't want the spoilers.
Yeah.
So after Gem City, I'll have time to play it.
I beat the game.
What's up?
I've got like 30 hearts, 2 full stamina rings. I got 8 orbs I can cash in. I'm working my way through stuff and just taking my time, and I like trying to do the story missions and find the shrines. Luke likes to go hunt Lionels with 3 hearts. So yeah, I played it earlier today when I finished some of them. Actually, played it to start my day, did some work, and then I played it again after I did my work.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to spending like a good, maybe if I time it right, I might be able to be finishing it at Thanksgiving. Because I'm like, I finished Breath of the Wild, and I believe I did everything I could except for collect all the Korok seeds, and it's just not something I'm going to do. But it's a 100%er thing, and when I finally went to the last battles, I just walked through them because I was so OP, so overpowered. And that's what I'm hoping to do here because I really like 100%ing stuff.
Yeah, there's some stuff that's...
Sorry, Nate.
There is a con. It's okay. It gets us back to talking about Gem City.
Yeah. So Mark A. Smith is looking forward to the con. Judging by his picture showing up there, is he setting up at the con?
Oh, I don't know.
And Jesse has no idea who's coming to the con. So, Mark, are you just coming to hang out? Yeah. What's the plan?
A lot of people use trade names and they use their imprints, or they use their store names, and I can't keep them all straight.
What?
I have no idea. Like honestly, if Nate submitted like whatever his imprint is, what is it? The robot thing?
Giant robot head.
Yeah. If you put that like on a contract, I'd be like, I don't know who this is. I don't know. It's like they said they had a table. I don't know what to do. So I try to spend as little time on it as possible. Speaking of conventions, my show is the same weekend as San Diego. Do you think that what everyone's saying about this strike is going to affect shows like how people are predicting it will, or is it just going to be something? It's not going to be.
I've actually seen some stuff where they're actually allowed to do shows as long as they're not promoting current or in production work.
Yes. So you can go to the con, sign autographs, do the photos and whatnot, but they like San Diego's got a ton of panels for upcoming TV shows, movies, yada yada yada.
Right.
All of them, all those that had like a writer or an actor, they got to pull out of all of it.
See, I don't know. I'm not an actor, of course, but I wouldn't go to San Diego if I wasn't getting paid or if it wasn't part of a contract,
right?
A promotion. I mean, even if I liked comics, and I do, I wouldn't go to San Diego for it. So,
I mean, there's definitely going to be some hiccups in their programming for sure.
But not just that. I mean, what if this stretches like into the fall and you end up with messed up Chicago's or New York's or whether there's some of the fan expos that run late in the fall, or it won't last all the way into the spring for sure. But yeah, there's a lot more stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, like Stephen Amell could go and do stuff for Arrow, but he couldn't do stuff for what's his wrestling show that he's got right now, Heels.
Oh yeah,
he couldn't do stuff for that. So,
but why would he promote a dead product? I mean, something that nobody's making.
He could have made his career, but
there's no reason to go.
He could still get basically paid to be at the con based on previous work, as long as he's there. Correct. Not saying, "Hey, I've got this, new show on whatever channel or whatnot." He's good to go. Same with anybody else. Like, I saw Gigi Edgley is going to San Diego, but she's going because she's got a book out through First Comics and is doing, everything at their booth.
Right.
So like, John Reese could show up and sell Berserker.
Right. Did you ever do? Isn't that in production though?
I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't care. Did you ever watch Green Arrow?
A little bit, like maybe part of the first season.
I tried to watch the first season like 2 or 3 times, and I couldn't get into it. And I'm a fan of like whatever Speedy's name was, Mia. Like in the books, I was a fan of hers. I thought she was great, but I just never could get into the TV show. I like the Flash and Supergirl more. The Flash got really bad towards the end. I'm slogging through the 8th season now. It's difficult.
Yeah, I gave up on that one.
We stopped in the 2nd season.
I think it did really well up until like the 4th, and then it was difficult to watch. And the last 2 seasons, like 6 and 7, I was just hate watching it because you get so far in it, you have to finish it. That's kind of how I feel about it. But yeah. So what do you guys? Why is it? Oh yeah, you do. Same reason I have to go. I have to 100% or 100% games.
Well, that I get. Depending.
It's the same sort of thing. What happens if the last episode was rewarding? in some way, shape, or form. It's the same reason I watched Heroes. It was awful, after the first season. I was just waiting for it to recapture a little bit of lightning and be like, oh, that's the show I love. So you're doing
that's what happens when you have a writer's strike, folks.
Right? And that's exactly what caused that. Are you both doing Lionel? Who are you doing?
Yeah. Chitara.
Oh, okay.
So
I got more in Mark. I'm doing Mark too.
Mark said he is setting up. He did the cover for Adam Fields for Gem City Comic Con. Mike says you have Thundercats. I have Sleepy Cat. Justin says local con is having a 10-year anniversary and it's very celeb oriented. And Mike watched all of Arrow.
Of course he did, because it wanted to be Batman.
Right.
Well, didn't Green Arrow start off on a different publication? It was their version of Batman, and then they ended up getting owned by DC. I'm trying to remember.
I don't think so. I don't think that one. I don't think Green Arrow fell in that camp.
No, Green Arrow didn't start on. He wasn't a National Periodicals character.
I don't know. Anybody out there in interweb land got an answer for us?
Here, I just had to do it. It was first appearances, More Fun 50 or 73, which is in 1941. It was based on a movie serial called The Green Archer. He combined it with those influences and a superhero resembling the popular character Batman. But it doesn't say who it was published by.
Mike Buckley says Green Arrow was in the JSA originally. So did he always start out as a DC character, or was he like...
I think More Fun.
Captain Marvel.
I don't know if that was. I don't think that was in National Periodicals. More Fun was. But that would have been like Cavalade. Oh, Comics Cavalade. I'm trying to remember what year that would have been. Mm-hmm. All right, I digress. I could be wrong.
So what kind of fun stuff can we expect at the Gem City Comic Con?
I kid, but Gem City it's been difficult these last couple of years, ever since COVID. Because we were at a pretty good clip. We had a nice little machine that was working really, really well. And then after COVID, a whole bunch of things changed. And I'm actually going to say that the convention center in the downtown area has never really recovered from. There was a mass shooting downtown, and then then COVID, of course, came. I'm not sure it has bounced back all the way from that. This year, the biggest struggle has been with the hotel. The hotel that was connected to the convention center is still closed. We hear lots of good things are going to come, but we don't see any evidence of it. They said, "Oh, there's the Hard Rock's going to move in here, and we've got this lined up, and it's just in the spring we're going to be doing some construction, and they're refurbing this and refurbing that." And I don't see any evidence of it. I just don't. And everyone is being just cagey enough to make me believe that it's not happening. But that's just me. I like to believe the worst is going to happen. That's just.
We know.
But as far as fun stuff, all the great stuff that we usually do at Gem City is still going to be there, but in a lesser form. I'm trying to streamline it, make it more manageable for one person to do year after year. I'm going to change the focus of it a little bit going forward, and try to, instead of trying to be something increasingly large. I want to make it something that's repeatable and quality. I like it to be a showcase of Midwestern creators and dealers. We've been real fortunate. We've met lots of people from overseas. We've had guests from England and France before, and the East Coast and the West Coast. And I feel indebted to them to a degree, coming and helping the show. People like Jim Valentino, Mark Wade, Barry Kitson. I know I'm forgetting people, but people who helped and didn't need to, but did. And I don't think that long-term the show is beneficial to someone like them as it would be for someone like that's in Chicago, or somebody that's in Louisville, somebody that, just Midwestern creators and stuff. And that's honestly, I think that's what I'd like to focus on going forward. Wow, this whole thing just ground to a halt. Wow.
Yeah, way to go.
What was the question? What fun stuff do we have planned?
Yeah. That's what are we doing when we get there Saturday morning?
Well, you'd probably already be loaded in. It's going to be wall-to-wall comics and creators. It is sold out. I know there's going to be a little bit of room in the corner of the room, and that's going to be room to grow in the future. But it's going to be wall-to-wall creators. I don't.
Is it that corner that I'm thinking of?
Well, yeah, it's the same corner in there.
That corner last year.
Right, and I didn't sell it on purpose because I wanted more space there to grow into it. But there's a limiting factor, and because we don't have access to as many tables as we have in the past. So, I mean, on the floor right now, I think there's 280 some tables plus the gaming area. And I could probably put 380 some on the floor. Not that it needs to be that big, because then it's just, but I wouldn't mind it if it was. So we're looking at ways to change that to make tables more available, because it's tables. To rent a table, not with covers or chairs or like pipe and drape, it's like $120 a booth.
Yep.
I mean, and I don't think that in a market this size of Dayton, it's fair for me to have to pay that, and I don't think it's fair for our creators and our dealers to pay for that. I don't think that's a huge value. So what I'd like to do is, nobody call me out on this or say that you said, but I'd like to make tables an option for dealers. Because I know when I travel to shows, when I go to Baltimore, I carry tables enough for everything I got. When I go to Chicago, I carry tables. I'm not buying tables. I'm not renting tables in the hall.
Right.
I'm bringing them. And those are also big city shows where everything does cost. But to get more artists and get more creators on the floor, I need more tables. And I think the dealers would pay a little bit less, and that would free up tables for Artist Alley and for the guest area. And we could showcase more people that way, rather than, I mean, I have no idea. I'd have to look on the map, but fully 120 tables are tied up in dealer land. And they're going to make us pay for them. Maybe not this year, but next year, which is their right. I guess that's just how that works. And I'd rather the dealers pay for their own tables or bring their own tables, so I could rent tables for creators, which is what I want to highlight anyway. I've said that same thing like 3 times in a row, but
yeah. It totally makes sense. It like, put it in perspective, like what you're saying, like the table cost and stuff. When we were in Anaheim, a chair was $125. A chair.
Right.
Because we had to pay the union guy $120 to go get the chair and bring it to us, and $5 to rent the chair.
Right. I mean, and in big cities, you can get away with that sort of thing. And in Dayton, we're really lucky in cities like us where we have a sort of a municipal facility. The tables and chairs have always been included for us. From when it was run by the city or when it was run by ASM, they've been super generous with the county's property that they're entrusted with. But that doesn't pay for the upkeep and replacement repair budgets for any of that equipment. And as it dies off, someone has to pay for it. Somebody has to buy it. And whether it's the county or not, there has to be some sort of cost recovery with it. And as where before that was sort of built into the room, it's not now. So there will come a time when they're going to bill us for it. And I'd rather, if I'm going to buy tables, I'd rather buy it for people that are paying $75 a table rather than jacking the price up. It would almost double the price of the table.
So
for an artist.
You got a question from Gino if the price of the table would come down for artists a little bit.
What we've done, probably not. Probably not. What I've done instead is, I think it was 2 years ago, I put a bunch of tiers for artists. When I do the algebra for the space over cost, the place for a table is roughly $80. That's what that space, like if you just took the 8-foot table, set it there on the floor, what does the square footage cost me? And it's like $80. So I put a couple tiers in to sort of level that off across a couple different tiers. Like if you just want an artist alley table, it is $75. That has been the same since that was the high price when we were at the student union at Wright State. That's what an artist table cost. And we kept that price when we moved to the convention center or through the Nutter Center to the convention center. Artist alley tables are $75. And I lose money on those.
That's a steal for like any show.
Yeah.
Right. And
it really is.
But knowing that I'm losing money there, I added a second tier that if you wanted a little bit more extra space, 10 by 10 booth, it's $100. All right. The math is still not great, but it does pay for itself. And a little bit more money to put back on the artist tables. And I added a third option that is, I forget what it is. I think it's it's $150 for a corner booth. So you get two tables to lay out all your stuff, and you're on a corner where you're at. I think I call them the small press booths. And that does pay for itself, and it covers the cost of those other things. The artist alley, the money that I'm losing on the artist alley, the money that I'm just breaking even on the 10 by 10 booth. And it lets people decide their level of, where they think that they can be profitable at. That said, I feel like Gem City is there for creators. It's not, I think I'm trying to be as fair as I can, make it as low as an investment to get your ideas in front of people, knowing that that self-publishing is incredibly expensive for what you're getting back out of it. So I think that
I think that price was like more than fair. I mean, any other convention, in the Midwest, I think you're looking at a minimum of like $150 at least.
Yep.
I haven't done any research. I don't know where we fall. I know that if I tried to make an artist alley table, $100, and that's the starting point. I think that would be prohibitive to a lot of people that have ideas or talent that just want to be in front of people. I think it would be a prohibitive cost. Just that $25 would be prohibitive. The other thing that I've done to help, that was the other thing that I was going to do, is to help balance out those prices, is as where in the past I wasn't really strict on the due dates. And even now I rarely charge, like if you miss the early buyer or if you miss the deadline, I've never really asked for it, but last year and this year, I forget what the date was, but after that date, I was just like, well, it's a little bit more because all the extra work that I'm gonna have to do, and it helps pad that space to add more, or pad the cost to add more artist alley tables. God, ground to a halt. Who asked that question?
That question came from Gino, was asking about table prizes. Mike wants to know if we're going to color these.
I've been working on something. Maybe I'll color mine.
I'm probably going to color it on the computer.
Same. Yeah, this might make an appearance at the Gem City Comic Con next weekend.
Same. Well, the art will, definitely.
Snarf.
So what are you drawing there, Jesse?
I'm sorry, what?
What are you drawing?
I was drawing I'm actually got two things going on here. I'm going to grab a marker here and start working. I'm going to save it till the end, so don't forget.
Okay.
I've got two
things: the stick and a rock.
No, well then, if you count that, I've got more than that. I do have stick and rock, and then I've got another thing that I'm going to work on here in a second. Grab my pencil, and I'll start working on it. This one will be for Mike.
So my favorite thing of Gem City Comic Con happens outside of the con. It's Saturday night. Starts 7 o'clock. I'm trying to help you out and lead you in here, Jesse.
The drink and draw.
Yeah.
Yep, the drink and draw is a lot of fun.
Yep.
Most fun you can have in Dayton in like a couple of hours.
Well, there's more fun you can have, but usually it's illegal. and it's not a soccer game.
Oh, we don't want to put people to sleep.
Soccer is so much fun. And people don't even know. But the drink and draw. It's always been a lot of fun. This year, we couldn't, because there again, budgetary issues and time and funding and people and stuff. The Rosewood Art Center is someone from the Kettering Works, is somebody that we've usually worked with, Andy Daly, over there. And this year, he just doesn't have the staff to help us out over there. So they're going to come back with it next year. They're like the charity group that we work with. But this year, we're going to be the drink and draw. You sit down and draw some stuff, and then we have a silent auction off the pieces, and then all that money goes to something. In the past, it's been the Rosewood Art Center. This year, it's going to go to the family of a friend of ours who passed away suddenly after a short health crisis. He died of cancer, but he's a good friend of ours, and we're going to see that his family gets a little bit something from us. So that's who we're working for this year.
You might want to update the Facebook event.
Nah. What's it say?
It says Hero Initiative.
No, that's a different thing. It might have, but the Hero Initiative is the other event.
Yeah, it's the
live auction.
The live auction, but I'll double check it. But I swear that's what the drink and draw said too.
Well, maybe it does. I don't know.
He doesn't know what it says.
What's the kid? I'm here.
Mike Buckley says, add the right and bite. I'm totally confused. I'm lost here.
Mike is a author. He's a writer. So
right,
we don't
Mike
drink and draw. Right.
I got it.
I got you.
That's why he's an artist. You got to explain it to him.
Yep. It's like Jesse said those big words earlier of algebra. I mean, come on. Who uses algebra?
It's like, I do both, so I understood the joke.
That technically makes you a cartoonist, doesn't it?
I know, yes. My business card, I think, says that.
Does it?
It also says wizard, but,
Right. You know what? That could... I'm looking at the Shatara there. And for a second there, because I don't have my glasses on, I was like, why is he doing Sue Storm?
Mm.
Yeah, it does kind of have that. Once she gets her spots.
Right.
I gotta add all these freaking cheetah spots all over. Whose idea was this? Oh, Mike's idea.
We should just have a draw where you just do nothing but webbing.
Yeah, I'd do that.
That just seems tedious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know why they didn't change his costume too.
It
like all those lines.
honestly,
It
it's not
drives me nuts.
it's not that bad if you know how to do it. It's the guy who's not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, a guy who's riding in a car, going to the lake, probably sending us memes on Facebook.
God only knows what he's sent us so far while we've been on here.
Right?
Though he may be too busy watching us to do so.
He can multitask. I think he's probably.
Hey, let's
I
not
don't
go
know
down
about
that road. If he's multitasking in the car.
Hopefully, he's there by now. When did he leave?
I don't know what time they leave.
Mike Buckley says he's going to try to draw. Should be good entertainment, if not good art. There we go.
Thank you, Mike.
I'm gonna have me some tasty, delicious brewed beer and some of their those tots that they make. Those things are awesome. The tater kegs.
Right. I haven't been down there since then. They've actually opened up another tap room somewhere else here in Dayton. I think it's in Huber Heights.
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah, we need a road trip because the menu just sounds awesome.
Right. Anytime you want to. I mean, it's almost here at the house.
But you're never home. You're in soccer.
I know. I love soccer. I was going to say the thing that I like most there is they have the craft soda menu.
Oh yeah, I want to try that.
Oh yeah, they were fantastic. They had cream soda that they had made and a couple other things like that. They were just really good.
Luke
and vanilla. Yeah.
Mark says I didn't drink, but I promised some guys I'd join in, and so we'll see. It's a good time. They've got good food. The place is usually packed. There's a bunch of nerds hanging around bidding on artwork. I mean, what could go wrong?
I don't think that I've ever gone there and wished that I hadn't. I mean, as where some of the other places I've gone, I've got there and been like, I wish I wasn't here.
Yeah, I've been to some of those bar cons.
Yeah, they can get lame, but this, I don't know, it's always entertaining because everybody's like sitting around, like looking at what everybody else is drawing, and you know, everybody's getting a little inebriated.
I think you guys have just gotten old.
Yeah, let's not
that too.
I'm serious. I mean, because I remember when I first we were at a show in Detroit at Motor City, and Sean had a backpack full of liquor at the bar.
Full of beer.
Well, it's full of beer at the bar.
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna pay $20 per drink? We spent $20 on like a 6-pack or whatever.
Right, but that's not something you would do now.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
You wouldn't buy a case of beer and sneak it in your backpack or walk around a hotel lobby. That's not something you would do now.
Where we collapse after the show and fall asleep.
Yeah, well, there's that.
like at Baltimore, the last time we went to Baltimore, I was with Sean and Steph, and the second night, I felt miserable, like absolutely miserable. We went and ate Mexican, and then I was like, all I wanted to do was go back to the hotel. I was like, after we left, I was like, we shouldn't be going. I should just stay here. But yeah, felt awful. I can't imagine because that was the night of the Harveys. Or
Oh,
not the
yeah,
Harveys,
yeah.
there was the Ringos. And those people came back and they'd been drinking and they kept going. Ugh.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
They have a
it's
good
been
time
a,
at
it's
those.
been a few years of doing the stay up till 4 a.m. and then get up and do the con again.
Yeah. I was
And
always
it's
older
always
than
Gem
that.
City weekend.
Right. Gem City just I'm
worst.
so miserable. I'm so miserable. I've
Well,
never had an opportunity to enjoy it. I never ever have. It's always just so much pressure, and then it goes by so fast, and then by the time I'm ready to think about it again, it's time to be stressed out and pressured again.
That's why you need more lackeys.
No, I don't need more lackeys. I need more automation, and I need to draw lines, set some good boundaries with me and technology. That's what I need to do. Because right now I just feel like compelled, like if my email, like I've got my email open, and I feel like if I get an email for the convention, I've got to deal with it now. And I need some space from the technology of it. Same thing with Facebook and stuff. I worked really, really hard this year to keep the convention's social media out of my DMs, as it were. I've given Amanda a lot more latitude to do what she wants to do, to varying effect. I think she's done a really good job this year. That said, everything I'm reading about using social media and advertising, the windows should be getting shorter and shorter and shorter for advertising. People are like, "How come you didn't get us stuff for Gem City yet?" And I'm like, "Well, because it's a month out. People don't keep stuff for a month. You've got conventional wisdom says that it's 2 weeks, and I compromised with some other stuff especially the internet ads at 3 weeks, and theirs have been huge. Like their numbers are always dumb. I can't get a grip on how many people are looking at it versus how many come. I mean, we're steady around 10,000, but like the website ad is like 50,000 people have seen it. I'm just like, but that relates nothing. I mean, those numbers might as well just be made up. Yeah, I need to set more boundaries. That's what I need to do.
Well, what do you know? Josh Warner, formerly Jay Lynn Warner, says it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Hey, he can come back
Josh,
anytime he wants.
we were just talking about backpacks full of beer. That's the way we do cons, man.
That's why you did cons. You're too old for that now.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. I might concede a little bit.
You
freely admit I fall asleep when I get back to the hotel room after dinner.
Yeah, I will admit, when we were in Chicago, I think you were the first one out.
Well, I mean, it's a busy day. I mean, even when I came back to doing comics, I was in my late 30s, and I was not with somebody that wanted to go out partying afterwards. I mean, make an appearance. I spent like an hour getting to talk to Dick Ayers. That was pretty fun. But just that sort of stuff, and then go to bed. Go to bed.
Yeah, like I think seriously, when we were at C2E2, I think we were all out before like 11 o'clock, and like that's the earliest I'd been to bed in a while. So like everybody else fell asleep, and I'm sitting there like playing on my phone and like looking around the room, going, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to find a way to fall asleep quick."
Right.
Well, and that show is a long day.
Oh yeah.
It starts at 9
hours
for VIPs, and
it runs till 7, and then you go out and you try to go get dinner.
That's why I actually like Baltimore over Chicago. I mean, Chicago for sure, it's a bigger city and stuff, but you're just like kind of sequestered in this really expensive area. I mean, especially for C2E2 at the McCormick Center. I mean, it's just expensive. But Baltimore, the hotels are reasonable, and like how many times did we just walk half a mile and there's just all kinds of different restaurants. There's what was the name of that ramen place we went to?
Oh, I don't remember what the name of it was. But that was really good.
It's fantastic, and it wasn't too stupid expensive, and it was just right next to the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I urge everyone to go to Baltimore. That's
that burger place we went to where they served Jesse grass.
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
Here's your grass.
That is what was the name of that place? It was like Three Dog or something, or it was dog.
Abbey Burger Bistro.
What's the dog themed place where they serve two of everything?
Place. I'm trying to remember.
Big Dog or something.
Yeah, I wanted to say Hound Dog. It was something like that. And like they actually brought like the salads out in dog bowls.
Right.
That was good. I do like that place.
Yeah, I did like that pizza. And where'd we go? The Mexican place was just okay. The area Dite creamery place. What was that? The ice cream place where it was all owned by rich people, and they're just like, I don't know, we decided we're going to make some ice cream.
Oh yeah.
It was really good ice cream. But
it was really good ice cream. I do not remember the name of that place, but that was hilarious. The one year, I think that was at Baltimore. I take that back. That might have been down in Lexington or Louisville. But we went to dinner with Jay Lyston. I can't remember who all was in the group. Dan Leister was with us. And it was like, I don't know, I'll say like 8-10 of us. We all went to dinner, and we went, and there was an ice cream place across the street from the restaurant. And whatever flavor Jay ordered, it was like at the very bottom. They were scraping the bottom of the barrel. And the guy's like, starting to scoop it out. And Jay's like, well, I'll just take the tub. He did. He walked out of there with the whole freaking tub of what was left.
Now, where would that have been that Jay was at? It maybe Lexington, probably.
It was Lexington or Louisville. I can't remember which one.
There's not a big show like that in Louisville anymore.
This was years ago.
Depending on what year it was,
This was probably like 10 years ago.
That's one thing I regret about Gem City is like since we've moved into the summer, San Diego and our show are the same weekend as his anniversary. So he's like, every year I email him, it's like, hey, you coming up? And he's like, anniversary. I'm like, oh, that's right. Oh, wow.
All the better reason to move back to spring.
Spring is really, really full.
Soccer.
Soccer did factor into it. The another thing that's, I don't think San Diego being the same weekend hurts us at all. We definitely lose some guests, which is understandable. But as far as like the dealers, there's very few dealers that head all the way out anymore. And most of the attendees, they were, if they're choosing between us and San Diego's winning. I mean, if that's their option, but most people in this side of the country are not going to spend that kind of money just to go to San Diego. That said, people coming the other direction definitely stay in San Diego. Even like my kids' godfathers, they live in San Francisco now, and they come down when they can, but they're in San Diego again.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But they come to the show every once in a while. I'm trying to get Z to come to our little show in Detroit, which is fastly becoming like a fantastic, fantastic show. One day, 8 hours, just packed with comics.
I don't know. We don't get invited to that one.
It's sold out. I mean, it's all dealers, and it is 100% sold out for the rest of the year.
I was going to say, when I've done your little show, it wasn't, great for me.
Which one? That was Springfield, though.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's it all right there.
I love that show. And it might not be an art show. I mean, you've got family near there anyway, so I mean, it's not a huge thing like that.
Not
stuff,
an excuse for me to show up there, though.
Right. You can see your brother anytime.
Yeah, basically.
But that show is turning more into a collector show, which is fine. That's we had really good attendance last year. Yeah, I like all the little shows, and I wish, I'm going to say this, people are going to get upset. I would trade Gem City for 5 good one-day shows. So much more manageable.
What about turning
You've
Gem
told
City
that.
back to a one-day show? You
I
said you
would.
wanted to refocus and whatnot. There's your opportunity.
It's hard to move back. The problem is that we've got a decent enough facility, and there's a fan base enough for it. And I think that's the show that these fans deserve. They deserve a 2-day show, and they're in Dayton. There are one-day options. I mean, the Jim and Dan show is done 4 times a year. Paul and Pickla is doing a one-day show twice a year. There's a number of card shows. There's a couple at the Nutter Center. There's a great, Roma does a great toy show. There's plenty of one-day options in Dayton so far. And I wouldn't want to jump into their lane when they're doing such a great job.
That's fair.
Yep.
I just say that because of just being magnanimous. But if I ever had to close Gem City, I would definitely get in their lane. They are on notice.
All right, so let's see. Justin Butler says lots don't like SDCC these days. Crazy expensive con, which it totally is.
Yeah.
Adam Fields says, "Hey guys, excited for the show."
Thank you, Adam.
And Gino says, "Would the 5-day show be localized or throughout Ohio like a mini Gem City?"
Oh no, I mean I would take. Well, you may not know this. We do lots of little shows all over. We've got a show in Detroit. We have a show in Indianapolis. We do a show in Springfield. I would, if someone could just hand me something, I would do 5 more shows around the tri-state instead of Gem City if I had the option, just because they're so much more manageable. They're super easy. They're just, all the work is the day of. I do very little work in advance besides printing stuff out and distributing flyers and doing a little bit of advertising, but all the work is on the day. Gem City is 18 months of planning. It is.
Really?
They try so hard.
You guys are killing me.
Yes, 18 hours. Yes, we heard it.
No, I put myself in the hospital last year, and you guys don't seem to appreciate that. I almost died. No,
I seem to recall us appreciating it with a blanket.
But the other little 5 shows, like I would like to do a 1-day in Columbus. I'd like to do a 1-day in Zanesville or Chillicothe. I'd like to get even further east, like almost into like the Wheeling area. But in Ohio, I'd like to move south. I'd like to get something going in like Erlanger or maybe in Lexington, around in there somewhere. I know that Jared would welcome a one-day show a couple times a year there. Yeah, I mean, just if the time is right, I think the 1-day shows and seeing how the industry is kind of like shrinking up a little bit, like the collecting, not so much comics. We could talk all day about publishing, but the collecting part of it after COVID is shrinking back up into a little bit self-correction. As where 2-day shows and 2 days extravaganzas like are hard sells. I mean, what's the one in Columbus now? The big show that's at the convention center. Is that a fan fest? GalaxyCon, yeah. I mean, they've been struggling across all their markets wherever they're at, and because it's a big dollar amount, it's a big ask for the tickets and all that stuff, and in a shrinking collectible market, I mean those margins are super tight. But like a little show, our ticket prices, and Gem City's ticket price is really cheap too. It's still $10. It's been $10 for over 10 years. But our 1-day shows it's a $3 ticket. You get and then you're in. There's all kinds of, it's all comics and toys, all comics and toys. And it makes it more accessible. And I think one-day shows are more repeatable. You can have, you never feel like you didn't get your value on a $3 ticket. And I think that even like mid-market shows in cities like Columbus or Chicago, not Chicago's not mid-market. I'm trying to think of some other ones that I don't want to say. I think those shows struggle to find value with ticket and with experience. I mean, well, I'll just say it. Pittsburgh is a fantastic comic city, and I think Todd does a fantastic job there. But I think it's an expensive town for being, a quasi-Midwest town. I mean, I don't think that he makes a lot of money doing it. I'm sure he does it because he loves it, and for his stores. But he's not getting rich off of it. Neither am I. But you couldn't do that sort of thing in a slightly larger town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The expectation, I couldn't do Gem City in Columbus.
No, but I think your one-day show idea would be fun. I would totally love to see that.
There's a lot of shows in Columbus right now. I'm waiting. Columbus is probably last on the list. There's a lot of dominoes that would have to fall in. I think that there's a huge collector group there in Columbus. But between Jeff Harper and the couple of gaming shows and CTS, they've got it covered. They don't need. Well, maybe, I don't know. It's covered for right now, and until that changes, there's no sense in doing it. But I'd love to go into some other old railhead cities, that at one point or another in the 40s or the 50s or 60s had industry, expendable, kids with allowances, a strong middle class, and that have shrunk up, like Chillicothe out or bombed out. Chillicothe would be a great place. I'm sure there's collections and collectors in Chillicothe. Same thing with Zanesville, Greenville, Ohio. I mean, these are, I'm trying to think along the river, maybe not like Portsmouth, but maybe on the Wheeling side. What's on the Wheeling side? Bethlehem? Is there Bethlehem, Ohio? Yeah, that's where the train went off the rails, isn't it?
Sure. I've heard of Bethlehem, Ohio, but I don't know.
It's a river city. It's a steel city, or maybe it's a coal city where they're bringing coal up to Pittsburgh and steel back down.
Apparently you're boring Izzy because she's messaging all of the rest of us.
What is she saying?
She's talking about like old messages from like weeks ago.
Because she's just now checking Messenger.
Yeah. Right. She's like, yeah, Jesse's not around. I'm going to go harass everybody else.
Right.
So Justin wants to know why there are 5,000 shows in Ohio. I find it bonkers. Enough people actually go?
Absolutely. I mean, man, I could give a dissertation as why there's so many shows and why there's so many collectors and why there's so many collectibles in Ohio.
Because it's Ohio and there's nothing to do here? No,
Ohio is the very edge of distributors from in the 40s. This is kind of like where they stopped. If you were an East Coast distributor, this was the end of your routes. Out of Pittsburgh, this is the end of it. This is where you stopped. And then everyone west of us had to wait. Chicago was usually 2 days behind or 3 weeks behind on periodicals because they were printed there, or they had to be, trained in. And this was, in those times, this is where there was a huge middle class before you went into corn country. Dayton had tons of industry. Cleveland, Toledo, Cincinnati, Columbus, tons of industry. Middle class, kids with allowances. That means they needed cheap stuff to buy. And it was comics and toys and stuff like that. So there was a ton of that stuff. Even now, I'm still surprised of, I bought a collection actually yesterday. And it was from an 80-year-old man that kept the stuff that when he was a kid. And It's still here. It was still in a barn. It was a really nice collection. This is amazing. But it's still there, and they're still out there now. So that's why there's so many shows in Ohio, because collections keep coming in and stores are still being fed by people that are looking for stories. I mean, there's a ton of shows. Like Dayton's a little city, a little mid-market city. And there's 8 stores inside city limits. 8. Well, inside inside of the metropolitan area. 8. That's crazy. How many are in Columbus? There's like 15 places inside of the city limits. It's huge.
Something like
there's bigger cities in the country with no comic book stores.
Right.
I mean, there's big gaps in the collecting community just a little bit further west of here. Like if you get into Kansas and stuff, like big cities like Omaha, there's not a lot of shops. Go down to like the Oklahoma City, there might be 5 shops. And it's a much bigger metropolitan area. I don't know. I always tell people that people in Ohio like to read. They're interested in the story. They want to know what's the next story.
Yeah,
and
they're bored.
Well,
I mean,
you're from Defiance, not Defiance. Where are you from? Genoa.
Genoa. Say it right, damn it.
Right.
and
So what do you know? So I guess you do know board. I mean,
yeah. I mean, there was cornfields and some more cornfields and a quarry and some more cornfields. But I mean, that was the thing that kept me occupied as a kid. It would be, here, we're going on a car ride. Shut up for a little while. Read this. You know, go to the corner drugstore, get a comic book until I was, I think 3rd grade, 4th grade, something like that was when we discovered that there was such thing as a comic book store. And, then I bugged the heck out of my parents to go. Started a pull list.
Right. How far do you have to travel to get to a store?
Probably like 10, 15-minute drive.
Oh, that's not bad.
It wasn't horrible. It probably isn't even that long.
Did you ever ride your bike there? Was it close enough to ride your bike?
No.
Yeah. The Funny Farm in Vandalia was close enough. It was a hike. I could ride my bike there, but it was a long time. It was a lot of riding.
I don't remember what the name of the shop in Troy was, but it started off across town and then it moved to downtown. Actually, no, it started off near my house because we'd hit it on the way home from school. Then it moved across town, and then it moved downtown. Like in the span of my high school years. So.
I know a couple of stories about that shop, but yeah, that was I think it was Laney on it. I think his name was Laney.
I don't remember. When they were downtown, I actually painted stuff on their windows.
Nice.
By request or because you were bored?
By
it
request.
Was Troy.
So Jesse, since you're such a historian, are you familiar with the Great Eastern Mall?
Was it up in ham country?
Ham country?
Yeah, Genoa ham.
No, it's salami. No, it was outside of Toledo area, but it was like the first mall. But
I don't know that one.
Wow, I'm surprised. I figured you'd know this. But that's where the comic shop was. It was Great Eastern Comics up until shortly after I was able to drive. They moved to Monroe Street in Toledo. They had 2 shops, and it was like late 90s, so that's when everything hit their downfall. So they had to condense their store into one.
See, that's a big city that I don't know that it has a whole lot of shops anymore.
No, when I was growing up, there was like 3 or 4, in the immediate vicinity of Toledo, and then if I go like 20, 30 minutes in the other direction was Roop's Comics.
I was going to say, I think that Chris might be the only one still up there, and he's all the way out in Fremont.
Yeah.
I think there used to be a shop in Bowling Green too. I don't.
There was a couple.
Oh yeah, you
there,
went to school there.
there was one while I was in college, and it was like a real tiny corner shop type thing. It didn't last very long. And then like there was like 2 in like the Maumee area. There was a few in Toledo area, and like all the surrounding little burbs had like little shops for a while.
Right. Wild.
And I'm seeing messages pop up left and right. I don't know what the wives are scheming.
It's dangerous stuff. Hey, nobody, did you guys have seen Ian's art, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that turned out really nice.
Too bad he's going to San Diego.
Yeah, he's going to San Diego. But I can't remember. I might have taken a picture for reference of the pose that I wanted for him.
You got that to put up on here?
No, I didn't take a picture. It was a Conan picture. I was like, make it like this, but only Red Sonja.
I think we should have thrown Jesse's album cover up here on the stream.
How late are we going? Are you guys almost finished with your drawing?
Getting there. I don't know.
I am, because I work fast.
Whenever. I mean, we normally stream to like 9:30. I mean, it's 9:07.
I did, because I feel like I've bogarted this whole conversation, and I'm just like, I want you guys to like keep going because
fine by me.
Talking.
I'm just trying to decide if I do anything else to this.
Are you going to? You said you're going to digitally color it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Thought about playing with some zipatones on it, but I don't know what I'd do.
Would you do that with paste ups? Or
Yep.
would you? Okay.
I get stacked or whatever. So, but if I want to get it colored in time for Gem City, I don't know that I'll do that because that takes time to do.
Right. Did you have like a zipatone brush?
Yeah, but it's different
same?
when it's actually on the art. Because when it's on the art, it just does something to bring up that bit in the art, which they're all packed in the portfolio.
I don't know. What other things can we tell folks about Gem City Comic Con? That's not doom and gloom.
I think it's got as many comics as a lot bigger show, and I know that's what most people are going for. They want the story, but they also collect. I think Gem City's got more comics than a lot of bigger shows. I'm sure there's going to be more comics there than at Galaxy.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
There's going to be more
Because
comics
you
there
don't
than maybe Detroit. That's funny because it's turned into a bit of a badge that we don't do celebrities and stuff, but it only started off because we were broke. We couldn't afford any, and then it became a thing. It's like we don't do celebrity guests, not because we don't like it, it's because we can't afford it.
But I mean,
and now if I were
honestly,
to add
I
some, people would be like,
shows.
well, for sure, I do too. But I mean, if we did add one guest or some guests, to pad our wallet or whatever, people would be like sellouts.
I think it would depend on who it was, because I mean, Baltimore's done it, but they've done it smart and they've been comic-centric people,
right?
Some comic things. Not
I would do it in an attempt to make the most money as I could. I would pick the wrong guest. I'm sure of it.
All right, so you're getting Chris Evans next year?
Yeah, it would be him or the guy that plays Loki or something like that. Just yeah.
You're porn stars.
You heard it here first, folks. Gem City 2024. We're getting an Avenger.
Yeah. That does bother me. Not Avengers, but like, no, everyone's got to work. I should just shut up. Never mind. I was gonna say, like, you go there and there's Playboy models and stuff like that, and it's a little bit awkward. See the kids running around, but no, everyone's got to work. It's what do I care? You guys have taken a long time to do this. I finished my drawing a long time ago. I mean, I should put some more detail.
Well, I'm just adding lines, dry brush, and some kind of stuff on it.
So I commented on my own thing and said auction Saturday at 3 p.m. to benefit the Hero Initiative. Tell us about the auction that will be happening in room whatever.
Frank Rayner runs it. Essentially, we put together a bunch of stuff for the auction. I donate some stuff. The room donates a whole bunch of stuff. The Artist Alley donates a lot of great things, and then we take it up to the second floor, and we have a live auction, which is hosted by Frank Rayner and his group of idiots. And it's a super fun time, and they've raised a lot of money. I mean, it's been a couple thousand every year for the Hero Initiative.
Reminds me, I should come up with something for that.
I think aren't you doing it? No.
We're gonna donate a canvas again.
Right.
I
do be a big hit.
I do have 2 canvases. I don't know.
Just charity.
I know you should donate the Venom canvas.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll do that to Mike. So we got a question here of what are the artists in the chat donating? So we know we got Adam was in here and Mike Buckley. Well, he's a writer. I don't know. Maybe he's going to donate a script. Mark's in here. You guys donate anything to the auction? You got a plan? You got a week to plan it out. And I missed this comment from Mark. One I attended in Louisville last month was not one for comic book collectors or artists. Lesson learned. Be better next year. This being the first year there, but I'll not be back.
Much too bad.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
I like Louisville a lot as a little town. We used to do the what was that guy's name? It was Eric something. Eric did his show for a couple times, and then Chuck Moore bought it.
Yeah.
Eric Bannister.
What is it?
It was
Eric Bannister bought it.
Yes.
So he started it. That was it. Because that was super fun. Because it's a fun town. Downtown, they always had closed off, great restaurants and stuff like that. You could walk around.
Remember that time we went to the bar with Bill and Cheryl forgot her ID?
I don't.
Cheryl never lets me forget it.
I don't remember that.
We went to dinner somewhere, and then we rolled into some bar, and the guy gave her grief. He said, "You got to have your ID," and she didn't have her ID, and I made some sort of crack because I said, well, I was whatever age at the time. I'm like, come on, man. So Cheryl never lets me live that one down. She's like, yeah, look at this old bitch. She's like 102.
Jeez, man.
I know. I'm gonna blame the alcohol. I don't know.
So what are you stenciling on there?
The Thundercat symbol.
Oh, okay.
It's not like I'm Tina at the drink and draw trying to draw boobs. She's bringing her own colored pencils. She'll let us all know.
I only take a pencil, and then they use whatever random stuff they have.
Right?
The challenges.
Ian shows us all up and, brings fancy inks and flicks ink on there.
He won't be here this year, so.
I know. He said he's working on coming next year.
Yeah. Is he heartbroken because Ian won't be here?
Probably. I haven't told her yet.
Izzy's gonna cry at the drink and draw. Oh wait, hang on a second. Steph's taking care of that. Mike said he's gonna be drawing Snoopy, and he says, "How do I submit my attempt at art to the auction?" So yeah, how does one go about getting their art into the auction?
There's going to be a guy that comes around. He's going to be wearing a top hat, and he's going to talk everyone's year. You cannot miss him. But he'll be collecting up stuff. His name is Frank Rayner, and he's quite a character, sweetheart of a man. Donates all his time to get this off going. But he is ultimately the real attraction to the drink and draw, or not the drink and draw, the Hero Initiative live auction. He's quite the character.
And Frank is the character. He's a good guy, and yeah, he puts all of his effort into making this thing go off. And I haven't got to watch it in person in the last couple of years, but the last couple of times I went in there, it's a lively event, and people get into it.
Oh, for sure. You know, something I probably should have mentioned at the top of this thing, but tonight is the last night that you can order tickets.
That would be good to let people know.
Right. Well,
Can you buy them at the door?
You can absolutely always buy them at the door. We have never turned anybody away. But tonight is the last one. A week out, I usually stop my sales on the website. And I stopped shipping tickets on July 1. But tonight's the last one you can pre-order them. And honestly, that's the other thing that I'm not going to do next year is I'm not going to do a pre-sale at all.
What? No ticket pre-sales?
Well, because it's just drives my anxiety. Just somebody orders a ticket, I got to get it out tonight. I got to do the paperwork. I got to get the address thing done. I got to put it in my spreadsheet. Got to get their names down. They're on the will call list in case they lose their ticket, and then I got to mail it.
This could be more automated.
Well, and it could. You could. I'm thinking about. No. I don't know that they even save any money doing it, because if you come to the show and buy a ticket at the show and pay cash, I'm paying the tax. I mean, because I don't want to hold up the line making penny changes. I mean, so I don't know that it actually saves anybody money having them in advance. The only thing that it does get you is it gets you some cool art on the tickets.
It's like any cool swag when they get to the door or anything?
No. $10 ticket. What are you going to get? You're going to get a wristband, a Tyvek wristband. That's as much swag as we get.
I don't know. I don't know if there was like a VIP package.
There's an early buyer program where you pay $5 extra and get in up to an hour early.
See, that's a good thing to know. There might be somebody out there that is just dying to go get a Jesse Noble sketch first thing in the morning.
Our early buyer actually is do about 120 people in right the first at like when I open up at 9 o'clock. 120 people extra through the door at 9 o'clock. And
the Cran Boys are almost always the first ones in line too.
The who?
The Cran Boys.
Right. And Misty and I can't remember her sister's name. Christy and Missy.
Yeah.
Misty.
I worked on their sketch today.
Do you know
I've got it right here for them.
Every year they are the first people to buy tickets.
I don't doubt it. They are pretty much like almost religiously the first persons to get in touch with me about doing a commission for the show.
Yep.
Same.
And every year I always say, all right, I'm just going to mail them tickets. I'm not going to let them pay for it. And I always forget. And then as soon as I open up the ticket sales, it's just like, they got their tickets. I'm like, damn it, I forgot.
You should get on that and send them as soon as the show's over. Send them 2024 tickets.
I got to figure out what I'm going to do for art for 2024. Oh, I'm not going to send out tickets. I'm not doing pre-sale tickets. Everything's at the door.
Mike says you should try doing this awake.
Wait, do I look tired?
Just a little.
I am tired. It's been a long day. I went and looked at this collection last night. And I bought part of it, and then I'm going to go pick up the rest of it when we're done here. Very few comics, but tons of pulps and little digest noir crime and love and stuff like that. Tons of it. I'll tell you a deeper story about it later because it's boring, but it pays off. The punchline, it's a huge payoff. Let's just say I missed the big, like I don't really deal in pulps, but I missed the deal of the century by about 2 hours. If I'd gotten there 2 hours earlier, I probably could have picked up $70,000 worth of pulps. And I just missed it.
But
just by
you
2 hours.
Jesse. No.
I really did Jesse it. But I picked up a bunch of value stuff, lots of $2 and $3. I think I missed out on the first Conan story and the first Tarzan story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy Jesse.
Yeah.
So will folks be able to buy that limited rare edition of the Jesse'd It poster?
Did we make one?
No, but you totally should.
All right. Yeah, I would do it. I'd sell them on the website. I wouldn't even sell them signed.
You should add that as an option for ticket sales.
No,
VIP package. Get the Jesse'd It poster.
I'm not doing it.
The Jesse'd It blanket.
We just put that away. It's been out over on the chair.
I don't know if the microphone's picking it up, but Steph is laughing so damn hard. Yeah, there's all sorts of conversations going on, and poor Ian.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. I don't want to know.
No.
I'm just
Yeah,
hearing
don't.
lots of giggles.
I never watched a lot of Thundercats growing up. I did G.I. Joe, He-Man, but I never stuck around for more than 10 minutes of Thundercats. And I think it was because I was a little bit older and didn't bother me as much, but I really disliked Mumra.
I'm
Not
gonna.
like him.
No, I mean it was it was like revolting in his mummy. As a mummy, it was just like revolting, and then his bandages would fly, and I'm just like, that's unsanitary, and it's
that's Jesse. Yeah.
it was it was revolting. I couldn't watch it.
Thundercats is like incredibly well written for like the time period.
Right.
And I wish it would have stuck around, but the reboot they did in like 2011 or whatever that was extremely well written, and it just got the shaft for
Because it didn't sell toys.
yeah.
Yeah.
The next
I think
Jesse
I'm-
he doesn't like Clone Wars and doesn't like Rebels.
I only cared about Rebels until the last season. That's when and then the ending was horrible. I hated the whole ending.
Well, it's not over yet. We got a whole season of Ahsoka coming to end it.
I'm looking forward to Ahsoka. And I can't wait to hear Thrawn, because in my head I hear Thrawn, and his voice isn't quite like it was in Rebels, and he was a little bit
the same
like,
guy.
Yeah, it's the same actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Mickelson.
This is awful. This is
Yes,
the worst thing
Mike.
ever.
Every day, Mike.
No, that's too bad. Maybe he'll do a good job and stuff, but the way that they depicted Thrawn in Rebels is sort of like a bumbling Clouseau. I hated it. He is way smarter than that. He would never fall for that sort of things. Yeah, it wasn't It wasn't good. Grayson right now is listening or is reading. My son Grayson is listening or reading Heir to the Empire, and he's just like, this Thrawn's really smart. It's like, yeah, that's how Admiral Thrawn is.
Is that the original book or is that the new one?
That's the original.
Okay.
It's I ruined part of it because he's just like, he goes, how are they supposed to restart the Empire? And I said, well, with Luke cloned. And he goes, what? I was like, never mind.
Well, and if I don't think Warner came back from walking the dog yet, but then all of a sudden it turns into this like 4-hour conversation of where did the Empire get all their money to rebuild?
Right. There's a huge, big money problem with that. I mean, they have to rely on slave labor, and that means, what were the name of the bug people that built the Death Star? I hate how they wrote that out. Because it overlooks their contribution to the Empire. They worked really hard. Their whole culture was destroyed.
The Geonosians.
The Empire destroyed and killed all of them.
Yes.
After the Death Star was finished, killed all of them. They actually had a revolt because so many of them were dying building the Death Star, and they said, "Well, thanks for your input." And I think they airlocked all of them, and it was.
Yeah. Now in canon, they just blew up Geonosis, and then they had spider droids go out and build the Death Star.
And I don't want to talk about this, but there's a book. There's a Thrawn book where it talks about this, where it brings all this stuff out that the Geonosians built the Death Star from beginning to end, and when they finished it, like all the superstructure and got to a certain point where they didn't need them anymore, they just said thanks, and left them out there in space. Killed all of them. They didn't even. The Thrawn says they didn't, because Thrawn was the one I think that did it or oversaw it, or it was Krennic that did it. I can't remember, but they didn't leave an egg left to restart their people. Yeah, they were bad guys anyway, but still.
No, on Rebels, Click Clack was carrying around that egg.
You think that wasn't a Geonosian egg?
Yeah, it was. That was Click Clack. Steph's even saying, yeah, it was, because she just rewatched the entire thing so we can get ready for Ahsoka.
Huh. I don't like Ezra Pritchett. I do not like him. Has anybody played Survivor? Did you finish Survivor?
I haven't even finished the first one yet.
The first one was pretty satisfying.
I haven't played Survivor yet.
Well, the first one it was a good gameplay, satisfying stuff, and then it kind of became like boring, and then at the end of it was just like, wow, this is awesome. Probably the best ending to a Star Wars game ever. And I have a copy of Survivor. I haven't put it on the PS5 yet because I'm waiting for after Gem City. But I'd be interested and I've avoided all the spoilers about it, but I would like to see Pritchard, Ezra as a character in that. And I'd like to see that Jedi, I forget his name too, but in Ahsoka.
Cal Kestis?
Yes.
I want another Force Unleashed game.
Yeah, I like that guy. He was a clone of some sort, wasn't he?
Yeah. What was his name? Galen Merrick? Is that right?
Wow. Digging deep.
I just remember he voiced Darth Maul.
Yeah. I just remember that, like, a couple of years before that game came out, he was sitting at Pittsburgh Comic-Con sitting there twiddling his thumbs, and it was like right after that what was that show called Being Human?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
that had just come out, and he was like literally sitting there at the con, like twiddling his thumbs, and I was like coming back from buying a hot dog or something, and I stopped and said hi to him, and then it just turned into a giant conversation because he was just bored out of his mind.
Awesome. Yeah, because Grayson likes playing video games. We were talking about, he goes, what's the best Star Wars game? I said, well, it's Force Unleashed. I got a copy right here. And we threw it in and stuff like that. And it is unplayable because of how spoiled we are over graphics. I think it was like a PS3 game.
Yeah.
And by the time I loaded on the PS5 and it's like, this is unplayable. I can't. These big maps. I can't. Not maps, but the overlays. I forget what those are called, but they were awful. The game was just absolutely horrible. Yeah, and the jumping was all weird. And he's like, "This is the best game." And I said, "Yes, it was." Right next to the pod racing game.
Mike says, "You're killing me, Smalls." And he said, what's more stressful, Star Wars canon or Gem City ticket pre-sales?
All right, I'm done here. So I'm going to show everybody what I drew.
All right, let's make it bigger here.
Let's see what you got here.
All right.
I know. I want to.
Not that one. Not that one. No.
There we go.
All right. So this is, of course, Stick and Rock. And it's a hot day here, so the sun is big and stuff. Stick and Rock is, it's actually published. I am a cartoonist also, Nate. It was published in the Scribbler. This was a COVID project of mine. And then the actual drawing I did is I did. What? What are you laughing at?
Steph is commenting for you.
Yeah, that's one thing it could definitely be.
All right, so then here is
Rock again.
I'll hold up. It's the sun. It's obviously the sun.
Sure.
Getting some good Jesse style screenshots. I'm taking photos of the screen.
And then I drew something for Mike. This is a bass player. He's
that's this?
No, it's Tune This. It only has one string.
Oh my god.
So this is for Mike. I'll sign it for you. And
Mike, you got to pick that up Sunday when you come to the con, along with your Venom print.
So there you go. That's signed for Mike. See, because bass players are he's got one string and he can't tune it, so he's holding it out to the guitar player to do.
He's got one tooth.
Yeah, he's just got one tooth. And I tried to do it better because I couldn't make them look as cross-eyed as they usually are.
Mike, you better grab that up because there's only like one other signed Jesse Noble piece, and I've got it hanging on the wall. It's graded.
Yes,
yeah.
It's funny because I had that witnessed. Cody witnessed, and he's like, "Are you seriously signing that?" And I said, "I have an illustration inside of it." And he's like, "Where do I get one?" And I said, I showed it to him. He goes, "Oh, okay." Thanks, Cody.
Yes, Mike, I'm gonna bring your Venom canvas. I won't forget
It's going in the auction.
It's going in the auction. He says, "Jesse, bring it. It will go on the wall."
I couldn't decide. Maybe this is. If I'd given it like a mohawk, it could have been Borgman.
It's colored in blue.
Right.
You could have just made it bald and made it Mike.
Right. This is just some. This is a compilation of most bass players that I've met over the years. Cross-eyed, can't tune a guitar, one string. I actually played a show with a guy that was a bass player, and he had one string on his bass. It's like, that's all I need. And I go, I guess you're right.
Gets the job done.
Yeah.
All right, it did hit 9:30, and I think Nate and I are both done drawing. So,
Yep,
any other horror stories you want to tell people before we get out of here, Jesse?
If we want to hear about horror stories, we should do this again 2 weeks after the convention, after I've had time to decompress, and then we'll talk about all the things that went wrong that nobody noticed that will keep me up at night for years.
Well, as long as there's
Don't worry, we'll poke that bear.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right.
Gem City.
Next weekend, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
It's real big on the screen. All right, folks. Thanks everybody that tuned in and hung out with us, asked questions, all those good things. Hope to see some of you next weekend in person, especially Mike. Come show up and I'll have your print. I promise. Maybe. All right, everybody. Thanks again. And come back and join us for one of these sometime soon, hopefully. We'll find some more times to stream. But the boss has got us busy, so we'll see.
Yep.
So, have a good night, great weekend, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Good night, everybody.
Later.